This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.
And the NBA and Udi Hussein will beat Green Bay and do it all on the arm of El Dante. Yes. You know, normally on a day after a game like that, you would dive right into from the montage into the Wolves. But there's so much that happened over the weekend regarding sports. Sports is your whole life, just sports. Wolves go up 3-1 on the Lakers. I'm sure Rosen is now. The legendary Mark Rosen is probably torn. He's about to lose $2 because he bet against the Wolves. He actually thought the Lakers were going to win the series.
He picked the Lakers in this series.
I think the Lakers will win in 7. The Wild, the part I saw, I actually caught. I finished playing golf before I had to introduce the mall rats at the tailgate party after golf on Saturday night. At Grandview for the Grandview KFAN Common Man Golf Opener. Went to the room to clean up, and I remember, I think they're playing an afternoon game. The part I saw, I tuned in about 3 minutes to go in regulation. So I saw the last 3 minutes of reg, and then I saw the heartbreaking overtime, 8 overtime. We'll dive deep into that as we go on, but I really thought it was that old. I know you've said this before, and I usually roll my eyes, shrug my shoulders, and shake my head when you go, the Wild or whoever it was, they all played them, and even though they lost the period, they're behind 2-0, and they outplayed. I think they outplayed them in the overtime. That's what I thought. And then, of course, the Twins. What's the magic elixir to get out of a slump? Same as last year. White Sox, Angels back-to-back. And
slump busters is what we call them.
Slump busters, and you win 6 in a row, and all is right with the world. Jimmy Buckets, will he play or will he not?
They've won 6 in a row. They won 5 of 6.
5 of 6.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, will he play or won't he play? That remains to be seen. Steph Curry was absolutely Steph Curry on was that Friday night or Saturday night? That must have been Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday night. And in the National Football League draft, we get everybody we wanted. We were amazed the players were available and they were there. So with all of those subjects and topics to get to, I can never make up my mind. That's my biggest problem. Let's go ahead. It's like, do I hit a 6-iron or a 7-iron? What I do is I always take extra club. How about you, tend to be? If it's between a 6 and a 7, I take extra because then I'll swing easier instead of trying to go after it. That's what Hogan always did. So I guess I'm most like Ben Hogan. You? Or does it depend on the situation?
It's taken me a while to learn that, but yes, I typically take more club now.
Let's go ahead and spin the wheel of topic.
It's not often I pure it and hit it over the green.
Well, that's for sure. Yeah.
Commons golf game.
Oh. Well, I didn't play today, but go ahead and play it anyway.
What did you shoot today?
Actually, I didn't play
I was going to say, if you played today, that would have been impressive.
Well, I actually could have gotten away with it early because as early as I start, it barely rained over in in Woodbury and only one rumble of thunder. So I could have played, but I had laundry. I was gone for 3 days. Laundry to do, this to do, that to do. So I actually, believe it or not, and I wanted to prep for the you're not going to believe that. So I didn't. But anyway, and then I can't play. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. I'm getting a shingles vaccine. What I really wish they had a vaccine for was bad golf. Wouldn't that be great if they had a vaccine? Here, come on in. We'll give you this.
Well, I would be addicted to it. I'd probably overdose on that.
Well, that's it. You would overdose on it. So I wish they had it, but I got to get the shingles vaccine because I don't want to get shingles.
What did you shoot today?
It depends what round. The best round was the opening round at Deacon's on Friday morning.
Where'd we play?
Deacon's Lodge.
Where'd you hit it on? One?
Right up the gut.
How far from the green was it?
I had to hit a rescue club because I pulled it left and I hit
second shot.
It bounced into the marsh, but I got it down for a 5. Then I hit it in close, missed a birdie putt from 10 feet, hit it into 4 feet and missed a birdie putt on 3. So I'm like, I should be 1 under at this point. I'm 1 over. I bogey 4, and then I hit a perfect drive on 5, and then I quick swing, the Joe Mauer quick swing,
yeah, and
I slice it over into, and I would have called it a swamp, but at the prices they're charging there, we call those wetlands. I don't call that a swamp. That's a wetlands. And I made a triple bogey. So now I go to 4 over. Then I go, so I'm 4 over through 5, make the turn at +6. Then I torch the backside. I shoot 1 over 37, and that's the worst I could have shot. The club was my brush. The ball was my paint. The course was my canvas. Afternoon round didn't go very well. Went to the Wilds on Saturday morning, and I tend to beat it. 92. Just awful. Then here's the worst thing. I get over to legacy courses, and they've now renovated all 45 holes. So now it's going to be the Lehman 18 will stand alone. Then the Dutch 18 will now be the Dutch 27. So I played the red 9, and again got off to a bad start. Went bogey, par, double. 4 over through 4. I'm staying on the 6th hole, my 15th, on the Dutch white, the back 9. I'm 5 over. I've played 10-hole stretch and 1 over par, including back-to-back birdies. 137-yard par 3. And that's to the pin. The carry's 120. Hit it in the pond, take another, now I'm going to call it a swamp. Hit it in the swamp, and then teed up again and hit it into the swamp again, and it was Lloyd. Lack of interest, ball in pocket. But all in all, we had a great weekend. The mall rats were there. We had hundreds of people attending, as always. We sell out the Golf Opener and Golftoberfest every single year at Grandview. So I want to thank our friends and our partners up at Grandview and all the courses up in that area. We'll be returning for Tee to Green. We'll be in the Brainerd area like 4 or 5 times over the next 4 or 5 weeks. So we look forward to that. Let's dive into Wolves, Wild, Vikings, Twins, and so much more on the Got to That program here in the fan. We'll get to a lot of sports coming up next. Oh, we got up.
Yeah, we got a keyword first. The Fan and BigDeck.com. Want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our National Cash Contest.
Bonus bucks.
Enter the keyword bank at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. The keyword is bank. Enter now at KFAN.com.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Oh, but then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. When Dr. Sabah and I decided to do a skincare line together, he said to me, we are going to give women meaningful beauty. And I said, that's exactly right. We want to give women meaningful beauty, which means each and every product is meaningful. It has a reason to exist. It's efficacious. You're going to get results. And then you just go out and live your life.
Meaningful Beauty. Confidence is beautiful. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com. Lenovo.
Head over to our contest page and enter for your shot to win a Fandango voucher. Good for 2 tickets to see Marvel's Thunderbolts in theaters May 2nd. Plus 1 grand prize winner will also win a $200 Visa gift card. Enter today at KFAN.com keyword contest.
Should be a couple of 13-14 past Common Man program. I'm Common, he's 10 to be. It's time now for Peek at the Purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric. With severe thunderstorms in the forecast today, Nick and Teresa at Affordable thought we should talk about home electrical safety during storms. Pre-storm, unplug electronics, turn off appliances, mark the location of utility switches. During the storm, stay inside, away from windows and doors, and avoid contact with electrical equipment and cords. After the storm, check for down power lines, report them immediately. Be cautious of power surges when electricity is restored. Keep general safety, keep electrical equipment away from water, use proper cords and childproof outlets according to safety culture. And then in outages, if you have a generator, located outdoors and away from windows, doors, and vents. And please do that. Remember, Affordable Electric, affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric is, shockingly, affordable. Boy, got a little power surge there at the very end.
I always love that one.
I'm going to do it one more time. Mostly because I got to find my story about the Vikings draft picks. This is the first time I did not see any of the draft. Baby brother Peter, I think I made this, talked about it several times. His last day at Ohio State for his sophomore year, he took his finals Thursday, flew back to Minneapolis Thursday night. I picked him up. We left Minneapolis about 9 p.m. to Brainerd, so I didn't get a chance to see any of the draft. But as you would expect him to be working at the all sports radio station, I spent a lot of time analyzing the 2025 National Football League draft. I took a sort of a skim overview of the entire draft, but when it came to the Vikings, I took a deep look. I think these picks are all accurate. Was it 6 players they took all together? Is that what it ended up being, or was it
5?
5 players.
They had 4. They gained.
That's right.
They gained a
5th.
1.
They stuck at 24, Tenneby,
yes.
which I have to admit surprised me. I did think they would not to do the Trader Rick thing where we're going to get 4 6th and 8 7ths, but we were going to at least try to take that first round pick and see if we could get maybe something at the end of the first round, early second, and maybe a third. But they went with the 24th pick in the 2025 National Football League draft. The Minnesota Vikings select Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State. Was there a roar from the crowd then, or because it's a dopey offensive lineman and it's a non-exciting position, it was just kind of sort of a mumble?
Well, as I tweeted out this weekend, my favorite part about watching the draft is they show the Rube fan bases for whatever team is about to make the pick, right? And there's 12 of them dressed up in costumes of some sort.
Sure.
And Roger Goodell, who's ever announcing the pick, They'll say the player's name, and you can tell none of those people have any idea who the player is. Right. And then they'll mention, wide receiver, Michigan, and all of a sudden they start going crazy like it's some sort of great draft pick.
Right.
You had no idea who that was.
Correct.
You're just blindly going to cheer for your team no matter what, right. And you heard the position that it was at.
And so guard doesn't generally get people excited. It's usually quarterback, running back. Those are the edge rushers. Usually offensive linemen don't create a lot of excitement, but I think tend to be you and I are in agreement that games are more times than not won in the trenches. That's where you build your team. If you're going to build from the inside out, you build from your offensive line and your defensive lines and build out from there. And even though the Vikings made 2 acquisitions in free agency, they got a new center and a new right guard. They decided to draft a kid named Donovan Jackson. By all accounts, big, strong, strapping lad. In reading. Again, I always am amused. I think did you say this or and I think you did, or maybe somebody else has alluded to it. Whereas every draft, I was looking at another story of draft grades. I mean, there's a few C's out there. Most of them get B's, B pluses, and it's generally because they needed a player at that position. They got a player at that position, so that means it's a successful draft. Well, not necessarily, because they may have passed on the best player available. And Donovan Jackson, by all accounts, will probably be a good player. If he's an absolute failure, right? If he's a bust, well, then it wasn't a good pick. So don't give him a B plus yet. You should wait to see what happens. But I don't mind building the offensive line, and by all accounts, he played for a national championship team that had a great offensive line.
He played out of position.
He
moved to left tackle for their stretch run.
And so...
because their left tackle got hurt.
I like him.
And he was brilliant.
Do you like the selection? I don't mind it. I mean, I don't know enough about him, but, I'm not going to pretend I'm Rosen. And I've had my eye on this kid for a long time.
Well, Rosen's had his eye on Gray Zabel. That's who he's had his eye on. We always have the question of, do teams go with position of need or best player available? And it's very clear in this draft, the Vikings did not do the best player available. They went with position of need. And even just Kwesi's comments afterwards, just, hey, we had a plan going into this, and we wanted to attack that position. They wanted to make sure they got the trenches, which they did with 2 different spots. And I think that's why I would have liked for them to trade down, especially given some of the trades that were made after them. Mm-hmm. Houston, the pick after them, got 2 third-round picks to move back to pick 34 with the Giants.
Okay.
The Rams moved with from 26 to 46, but they got a first-round pick for next year. Those are two trades that I think those are great value, and I would have loved to have done. I think what happened here is the Vikings were dead set on getting an offensive lineman, and my guy in purple prey, Booker, out of Alabama, I think was a surprise pick at number 12 for Dallas. So he got picked very early.
Okay.
Rosen's guy, Gray Zabel, was picked. So by the time it gets to the Vikings at 24, after Donovan Jackson, it was like, here's a drop-off in offensive lineman.
Okay.
And there's teams behind us that need offensive line. So if we try to trade back, we're going to lose out on our chance to get an offensive lineman.
That makes sense.
Ultimately, long term, I think the better play would have been to move down there, especially given the deals other teams got. But, they might be all in here for 2025, and this is your best chance for 2025.
And maybe what they figured out, Tennessee, you can use this next time the Tanner Fitzgerald set sail. It's a copycat league. And I think teams have now noticed what Howie Roseman,
Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia guy's done. It seems like every year he's drafting all linemen. Doesn't draft any other position but linemen. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen. And they won the big game, and they have a powerful offensive line that features the tush push. So Detroit they've spent a lot of draft picks on offensive linemen. Their line is one of the best in the football. They got to the NFC Championship game 2 years ago, got to the playoffs again this year with a 15-2 record. That's how you win. You have to have a really good offensive line.
And I had Thor Nystrom on Friday. He's got a draft college football expert.
Mm-hmm.
He says with the moves the Vikings have made in free agency and now with Donovan Jackson first round, he says top 3 offensive line in the NFL.
Really? Well, so there you go. Now again, I don't know if he's ducky
and
bunnying it up. But that's what you need to do. And I think the Vikings realize I think they're just done. O'Connell's probably very annoyed with what happened that's a 14-3 team with a really good offense, and he's quarterback whisperer, and the defense was great. They were planning on a deep run. They had Darnold working. I'm sure they thought we can win the whole thing. And then you watch your line implode like that against the Rams, and that was the last straw. It's like, that's not going to work.
And he's a scheme guy, and you can't scheme if you're offensive lines.
We're not going to do that anymore. We're done with it. We're going to load. A B-Flow, love you. And we're not going to ignore defense, but you got a lot of your pieces now. You keep doing your thing. I've got to focus on my offensive line, so I don't mind that. I guess we can go through the other picks later. The only other one I think that would be interesting, we should do it right now real quick. With the compensatory pick, they got a wide receiver. Did that surprise you? Do you know anything about? Is his name Ty Felton?
I didn't know a ton about him leading into it. I've done a little bit of research since. It seems like he's a late bloomer, a guy who was injured for a couple of years in high school. Wasn't super highly recruited, but had a very good 2024, and he can run. He's got some speed. He's got some yak ability, too.
Did it surprise you that they took a wide receiver?
I thought they only had four draft picks going into it. I definitely thought if you're looking at just positions of need, wide receiver 3, especially not knowing, if Jordan Addison's going to get suspended here to start the season.
Right.
They didn't have any super urgent needs, but I guess if you wanted to call something a need, that wide receiver was a need.
That's Purple Prey, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. For all of your electrical needs, go to affordable-electric.com. Remember, Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. Biggest topic out there today would be Common Man's back night at Deacon's Lodge on Friday. We'll get to that next. We will, why don't we talk a little Timberwolves and a little Wild next, NB? We'll do that next. Common Man program on the Fan.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you. Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Now I'd like to introduce you to Meaningful Beauty, the famed skincare brand created by iconic supermodel Cindy Crawford. It's her secret to absolutely gorgeous skin. Meaningful Beauty makes powerful and effective skincare simple, and it's loved by millions of women. It's formulated for all ages and all skin tones and types, and it's designed to work as a complete skincare system, leaving your skin feeling soft, smooth, and nourished. I recommend starting with Cindy's full regimen, which contains all 5 of her best-selling products, including the amazing youth-activating Melon Serum. This next generation serum has the power of melon leaf stem cell technology. It's melon leaf stem cells encapsulated for freshness and released onto the skin to support a visible reduction in the appearance of wrinkles. With thousands of glowing 5-star reviews, why not give it a try? Subscribe today and you can get the amazing Meaningful Beauty system for just $49.95. That includes our introductory 5-piece system, free gifts, free shipping, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. All of that available at meaningfulbeauty.com.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish or satin, or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews all in the app. Download today.
Carboni's Pizza is here to fuel you all through the playoffs. Visit one of their 30-plus locations to enjoy delicious pizza and get ready for the Minnesota playoff run. Find your nearest Carboni's today at carbonispizza.com.
So, this is odd. This is strange. You took my sister calling me. Now, she doesn't particularly care for sports, right? She's get to the Western Conference Finals and get back to me, right? It's got to be, the local teams have to be doing really, really well for her to pay attention, right? And she always calls me to ask me questions about the different teams, the different players on the team, any good storylines. And she calls me and said, so now tell me, you're watching the game, aren't you? I said, what game? I didn't know the Wolves were playing. What time did it start?
Or 2:30 yesterday.
The 2:30 game. I was over on CBS watching our guy Frankie Sappin and Jake Knapp battling in the Zurich. I mean, they were tied for the lead. Frankie Sappin from Stillwater, Minnesota. You're familiar with Frankie Tenneby. He and I share the same swing coach, Craig Warrion, who will be back in town this week.
I always love that one.
And will help me along with Ping Guy co-host. Would that be a tri-host? It's Ping Guy, Paul Peterson, Craig Warrion, the master professional, myself, live from Grandview. We will be we'll be doing the first tee to green of the season. But I forgot the Wolves were even playing or didn't realize what time they were playing. So, but I did go back and forth. But I found myself watching much of the game, and I mean, again, it's you got to win 4. It's the first of 4, but this seems like it's over, Johnny. J.J. Riddick, the head coach of the LA Lakers, I didn't even realize this till I read it because I went back and forth between the golf and the basketball. He plays the same 5 guys the entire second half.
Yes.
That hasn't happened since like 1997, I think I read.
And one of them's 40 years old.
Yeah, and I think he's getting ripped for it, but I don't blame him because he's got nobody else on the bench that can play. And it was like, that was a must win. You lose that, you go down 3-1, you got 2 more at your place. I get that if it gets that far, but you got to get it.
They were all in. They knew they had to win that game.
They had to win that game. And so I don't really rip them for that. And it's not like I get it.
They had a chance.
I was going to say, LeBron didn't score a point, I don't think, in the second half. Doncic wasn't very effective, but the game hung in the balance to the very end. They even had a 3-point try that rimmed out that would have tied and sent it to OT.
With their best 3-point shooter.
Right. So it's not
Luka. But
but it's not as though they just got destroyed because their guys were exhausted. They were actually on all 4, reverted to all 4s, crawling up and down the floor. I'm sure they were gassed. They said they weren't. I'm sure they were partly gassed. We've talked about that, Tenneby. I'm not a big believer in, like, they play 2 days from now. Do they play?
Wednesday, yes.
Wednesday. So I'm not a big believer in after 2 days rest and then a night game that you're going to be tired. But during a game, you can get exhausted when you're giving everything you've got. And I'm sure they were tired. And that is where our bench, Naz Reid, was brilliant again. I mean, he's been, it was Naz time. And he was really good. I like where Finchie kind of blowing his own horn. If you saw that quote, because coming out of the timeout, Lakers are up 2, I think, right? There's it's 107-105 with 3.5 to go.
Something like that.
Reed hits a 3 coming out of the timeout, and after the game, Finch goes, the ATO was pretty easy. I knew where I was going to go with it, and he delivered. I kind of knew what I was going to do. The JJ kid's a nice kid, but he's still... Because is this his first year coaching as a head coach in any
capacity?
Yeah, any capacity. So look at the kid's a little green behind the ears. Or wet behind the ears. He's a greenhorn. He's not quite ready for me, but it worked. And Oz delivered. And Oz, I saw this note. I think it might have been in Sue-Ann's piece, or maybe it was Sue-Ann's or Scoggins. One of the two wrote the Oz piece. Naz has made all 6 fourth-quarter 3-point attempts in the series, and he had 2 threes in the final 5 minutes. And that's where your bench helps you out. That's where if you got a bench, you got a guy that can come off. Last year's 6th man of the year would start. A lot of other teams, he'd probably be a starter. Remember, he knew that, but he said, I like it here. And the $40 million wasn't a bad contract either, right? But he probably could have gotten more and got guaranteed be a starter and playing time elsewhere. But he liked the culture. He liked his teammates. He likes Minnesota, and it paid off in spades for him and the team yesterday. But of course, you'd be burying the lead if you didn't talk about Anthony Edwards, who was, if there were those that thought that the NBA wanted the Lakers and Doncic to win because it's a better story and it's LA, I think they've changed their mind because this is a better story right now. The aging LeBron and Doncic, who now I'm not making any accusations, but the Mavericks apparently traded him. One of the reasons was because he likes to have a few barley pops after games and doesn't take care of himself. Do you think he really had stomach flu, or do you think he was hungover and couldn't play? No, I'm being serious. Stomach flu. Okay, I guess.
Was it the swordfish?
When was it? When was the last time you had stomach flu? I haven't had I'm 66 years old. I haven't had stomach flu in 20 years.
Yeah, I have young kids who bring germs home from school.
How does he get stomach flu? But anyways, he got stomach flu. He was waylaid on his back. Came in. He was exhausted. I'm assuming he had a nice game. What he ended up with something like 38 points. He only had one rebound though. And again, I'm not suggesting he is a rebounding savant, but usually they get more out of him. The boards. But Edwards was simply brilliant. His line, 43 points, 9 boards, 6 assists. They were down, was it 10 or 12 going into the fourth quarter, and he right away changed
a couple threes.
The complexion of the game.
He said, come fourth quarter, bring it to Ant.
He hits 2 threes. He scored 11 points in the first 4 minutes and something like 19 seconds, I believe it was, to cut the lead to 4. Probably, I would think, I don't know if it was his best game ever. I'm not talking about most points scored because I'd always been in the 50s a couple of times. But for the moment, a chance to really step on the Lakers' throat, right? Put them down 4 games to 1. The Lakers are, as you said, they're all in. They've pushed all their chips into the middle of the table. We're going to win this game, get a 2-2, go back home, and we can beat this club. It'll demoralize them to lose on their home floor. We win game 5. We're up 3-2. Now we got 2 chances to win, and they didn't do it. But his decision making, his play was simply brilliant. I know I'm going to get people mad at me, but let me finish this first. I loved what Ant did with LeBron during that portion of the game where he's pushing him. Mm-hmm. But shouldn't those be fouls? I mean, I know you get physical in games, but can you take your hands in basketball? Can you go up to your opponent and shove him in the chest like that? Now, they let it go where they didn't see, and I loved it because it was...
They let more go in the playoffs.
It was, as Edwards said after the game, he said, I was sending them a message, you're not going to push us around. Yeah. You're not going to bully us. Because LeBron has a tendency to do that, because even at 40, he's big and strong, man. He's like a bull in a china shop sometimes, and he can knock people around. But Ant wasn't going to...
He gave it to Gobert pretty good.
Yes.
On that free throw before Gobert elbowed him right in the head after.
Yes, exactly. And then LeBron was obviously very annoyed. I thought maybe fisticuffs might be ready to happen.
He knew what he was doing, though. He tried to initiate that.
Sure he did. Sure he did. Yeah. Absolutely he did. But so I love
the mentality of Anthony Edwards saying, I'm not backing down to you.
I know that you bump and grind and push, but he was actually going bam, bam. And I'm thinking, and he finally did get a foul call, but it was worth it, I think, in that case. Usually when you make a silly foul, you look at a guy and go, dude, what are you doing? But he wasn't going to foul out of the game. He had fouls to give. And if you are trying to send a message out, I liked what he said after the game. He said, we were pals in the Olympics. He took me under his wing. He showed me. He helped me. But now, he didn't say this, but it's different now. We're not pals anymore right now, at least not now. We're not. We're mortal enemies, and we're playing. And he was simply brilliant.
Well, even if he gets called a foul, as you've already mentioned, just the psychological game you're playing with him of I'm not going to back down to you, and we're not going to back down to you. It's also LeBron is as finely tuned of a specimen as we've seen in basketball, but he is 40. And even just doing that and playing physical with him back, you can take a little bit out of him.
Yes, you
right?
sure can.
I can only speak of hockey, but when you take when you take a big hit in hockey, it takes air out of your lungs, and that can like wear you down as a game goes along. And so just kind of those shots are, let's play physical right back at you and try to wear you down a little bit.
Again, I knew somebody would want to defend Ant, and I'm defending him. I knew that LeBron initiated every single one of those bumps.
He did initiate.
But he wasn't pushing like that, was he? Or did he do that? I didn't see him pushing with his
He
arm.
initiated the physical aspect of it, but you are correct that the refs should have called that a foul on Ant. Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I'm glad they didn't. And so, this is obviously the text messenger is one of those fans that everything as a matter of fact, this is really going to annoy Wolves fans. I don't suppose you're going to complain too much about the officiating yesterday. If I'm a Lakers fan, I mean,
they were complaining about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I'm saying Wolves fans always say, well, there's a conspiracy. They're going to call all the fouls on us because they want the Lakers to win.
Yeah.
Now, the one where Riddick complained about the stepping on the foot, I don't know if that's a foul or not. I don't think that is. Somebody would have to explain to me if there's inadvertent step.
I think by the rules, it is a foul.
That is a foul?
I don't know if it should be a foul.
Okay. But one foul, I don't, unless I might have been watching Frankie dump it in the water on 17 when that happened, so I don't remember. But, I don't know if that completely changed the complexion of the game, but I think the Wolves took 7 more foul shots than the Lakers. Now, if the roles were reversed, if the Wolves had lost that game, and it was 7 more for the Lakers, I know every single hardcore, the ones that are delusional. There are fans, I think, that are like you and I that can look at a game and go, yeah, a couple of, sketchy calls, but there was a couple of sketchy calls both ways, and that's going to happen. That's just the way basketball is. You just got to accept it and move on. You're not going to, do the throw pillow thing like I did when the Lions lost to the Bears back in 2000. I just don't think you can get that worked over.
I did find it amusing, the play at the end where LeBron hit Anthony Edwards on the wrist. Originally, they just called it out on Ant. They review it. He gets the 2 free throws. The disappointment in the broadcasters when they finally realized, that was a foul on LeBron James. They seem somber about it.
Right. Well, then wasn't there another player? I have the wrong game. Maybe it was the night before. Curry was simply brilliant. Did you see? I don't suppose you saw
I didn't see that one.
Without buckets. That's I don't know how. I mean, to me, when buckets went down and was out, that was the end of that series. I thought it was going to be 4 games to 1. So now whether buckets plays or not again, I don't know. But yeah, the Wolves just again they took no quarter and asked for none. You ever heard that phrase before? They took no quarter and asked for none. Google it. They took no quarter and asked for none. I love it. I wish some player would say that. I think it's an old, Roman gladiator. I think it's a Roman gladiator old saying or something like that. Or maybe I just made something up that's going to be a great phrase someday. Was there anything like that in there?
It means they showed no mercy, neither giving it nor asking for it. In military terms, no quarter signifies that prisoners will not be taken and that no mercy will be shown to captured enemies. Essentially, it's a declaration of a battle where the victors will be merciless and the vanquished will have no hope of sparing their lives.
Oh, I think I summed it up perfectly. Now and again, it's not lives, it's just their basketball lives, but I think that sums it up perfectly. The Wolves asked for no quarter, and they took none. They took no quarter. How is the exact phrase? Is it actually there, the exact wording of it?
They took no quarter and asked for none.
Yeah, they took no quarter and asked for none. And, now, I mean, again, if the Lakers came back from this, I'm not going to say it would be the greatest comeback in the history of sports because teams have come down from 3-1 before. Hell, didn't the Red Sox come back from 3-0 against the Yankees in an ALCS 10, 12, 15 years ago?
And all these games, other than game 1, have been close, good games down to the wire.
But the
Wolves have taken over in the fourth quarter every single game.
I'm going to use another cliche that I really like. They smell blood. You can use that on the Senator Fitzgerald. They smell blood. The Sharks are circling to win 3 in a row. I mean, I could see the Lakers winning game 5. Again, put it all out of the line, and Doncic is special, and LeBron, one more time. But I just don't see him coming back here. I just don't see it.
Well, that's the thing. The last 2 games, you've basically gotten LeBron James' best punch. And I know people are doing the he didn't score report in the fourth quarter. He was brilliant defensively.
Yes,
he made massive. Yeah. And he was brilliant in game 3. And even scoring-wise yesterday, he was brilliant through 3 quarters. they got LeBron's like best punch and won both those games.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
That's why it's pretty discouraging if you're a Lakers fan right now, trying to figure out how we're going to be able to play better to win 3 in a row.
I had a gadfly said, what do you think of the Big Meow trade now?
I was going to talk about that, yeah.
Well, I just think they traded the wrong guy. They should have traded Gobert, but I don't know if they would have accepted. Cat's a better player than Gobert is.
Oh, yeah.
Now, defensively, I know Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times. But they had to bring him off the floor last night. They have to put in that's when they bring in Naz.
Yeah.
He's a closer. Gobert's a nice player. He's meant a lot to the club. He's still very good defensively. What was his stat line?
Well, he doesn't score much.
He had 10 points. He had 10 boards. Oh. That's important.
Yeah.
But he had 5 points. So I think they traded. I'd still rather have Big Meow in the club.
Well, I don't think they would have gotten those guys.
They
wouldn't.
That's
Gobert.
correct.
Yeah,
that's correct. That's correct. And now they're finally earning their play. Randall was not very good the first half of the season. He's been brilliant since their record in the last 25 games. I think it's 21-4 with Randall. Something like that. It could be, could be 20-4 or 22-3 or whatever it is. But they don't lose often with Randall. He is now starting to play basketball. Like I guess they expected when they got him. DiVincenzo wasn't very good yesterday. I mean, as far as, we've seen him go, I guess they didn't need him. Ant was doing the majority of the scoring, as was Randall. I mean, they had something like 68 points combined, so they didn't really need much from DiVincenzo. I don't think DiVincenzo had double digits yesterday, and he's a guy that can go off if he gets rolling on in 3-pointers. He
had a big basket down the stretch for you.
Yes,
a left-handed layup and one.
But I mean, he's a 20-25 point guy a night if he gets the looks. So,
I will say I understand the trade a little bit more now because obviously clearly you have more depth now because you have 2 guys as opposed to 1 and Big Meow. And Julius Randle, the way he's playing, he does give you a little bit more variety of play than Big Meow. Like, they're calling it bully ball with him.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes, depending on matchups, depending on what teams you're playing, he does give them a little bit of a guy who can take the ball to the hoop that Big Meow couldn't necessarily do. And defensively, now Big Meow defensively was the best against Joker last year in that series, and a big reason we won. But he's a little limited on guys he can guard.
Yeah.
Whereas now, especially when you're going against Doncic, it seems like they can. What do you do the trade out? I'm sorry, I don't know my defensive lingo.
You can when
you're changing, right?
Yeah.
Like let's say
you can rotate.
McDaniels is on him, and all of a sudden he gets a pick, and now Randall can go out there.
Yeah.
Gobert can on occasions. Ant can do it. Even DiVincenzo's seems pretty quality. Like, they have enough guys now where they can just switch was the word I was looking for. Yeah. They can switch and still be fine, whereas last year you'd get kind of caught in, well, we don't want this guy guarding Doncic on this particular possession. So he gives them a little bit more flexibility defensively, and they can now score in a variety of ways offensively, as opposed to sometimes they were a little bit too much of a perimeter team with Big Meow on the offensive side of them.
Yep.
And depending on what matchups you're playing, that series or that game, sometimes you can get exposed for stretches.
My games run together, but and a couple people pointed out that Dante had, I think, 5 steals, and that is very good. There's other ways to affect the ball game, but I'm just talking about offensively. He's a 3-and-D guy, but he's mostly a 3 guy. That's why they got him. They wanted a shooter. They needed somebody else to open up the floor. They couldn't just have an Ant. He was brought in to get threes, was my point. But I get my games confused. So I don't know if it was game 3-1. It was either game yesterday or game 3. One, Doncic got his pocket picked like 2 times, almost back to back, and they were just easy steals for the and easy baskets for the Wolves. So they're crowding Doncic, and they're not trying to give him any room to breathe. And again, when you've only got 5 guys out on the floor that you trust, that's not a good thing. And even the Uchi.
The guy with the mask?
Yeah, the guy with the mask. He's streaky. I mean, he had 23, something like 23, I think, last night. But he's kind of streaky. He's high. And the Reeves guy, he's their big 3-point. He only had 7. I say only 17. I mean, they only lost by 3, but a bucket here and a bucket there. In both LeBron and Doncic. Now, again, the complexion of the game could have changed had those gone in. And maybe the Wolves missed some that I didn't see if they missed layups. But both LeBron and Doncic missed easy layups. That's 4 points right there. That could have been the difference in the game. But they didn't go in. They missed them. And now the Wolves seem like, is it, do Houston Golden State play tonight? Is that tonight? I would assume so.
Already looking ahead, aren't we?
Well, I guess I am. Yeah, we can. I hope the team doesn't, but we can look ahead.
Yeah, they play at 9 o'clock tonight.
So 9 o'clock tonight. Do we know? I looked several times. I'm a big Butler guy. I've looked several times. I don't know if he's playing tonight or not. I've seen nothing to say he's in or out. He missed the last game, and as we talked, we just touched on it briefly. Steph was just simply spectacular again. He basically willed his team to victory there.
He's listed as questionable.
Yeah, questionable. So whether he plays,
pelvic injury and glute muscle soreness.
Yeah, he went down hard. That was ugly. But yeah, I mean, it would be if it works out that way. If the Wolves finish off the Lakers, which I believe they will, and if Golden State, and you know what, if you're a diehard fan of a specific team and you have a fear of another team, I wouldn't fear. Well, put it this way: Mark Rosen said it best. This Wolves team, doesn't need to fear anybody. But I would much rather see Wolves Golden State than Wolves Houston, wouldn't you? I mean, Wolves
yes.
Houston doesn't. I couldn't name two. Yeah, other than Olajuwon and Sampson, I can't name.
Well, they got Clyde Drexler
and James Harden. Yeah. Other than those guys, I can't name another Houston Rockets player. And all you need to know is the big three for. Think about Draymond out there creating his havoc.
Oh, just stuff. Draymond versus Gobert with how much crap he said about Gobert over the last couple of years.
Think about that. And you got Ant and Curry playing, then Jimmy Buckets.
Oh, it'd be great.
It'd be such a great series. I mean, I told somebody the other day because I said that I thought that Golden State was going. You know me, I just like saying stuff. I said Golden State's going to win the whole thing. So some guy emailed me. He emailed me a comment at KFAN.com and said, "Well, remember I picked the Wolves and we'll see what happens. I just don't know if Butler and they're going to." And I emailed him back. I said, "I just root for storylines more than anything, and I just think it's a great storyline of Curry, Draymond, and buckets, and it's particularly now against the Wolves. It would be a spectacular series." So we'll pause. We'll come back. Tennessee, we got a little tease for 534.
Yeah, are the Rodgers rumors to Minnesota finally over?
Some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.
Come on. Why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity. With Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
The wait is almost over. Get ready for the NFL season like never before with the highly anticipated 2025 NFL schedule release. Every rivalry, every rematch, every rookie debut, every game revealed. The dates will be set. Primetime matchups will be known, and the road to the Super Bowl starts here. The full NFL schedule release, Wednesday, May 14th. Get all of the details at NFL.com/schedule release.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.